with the greens. And this part have 50 or between 60 to 70 protein that you can use in drinking water for animals from cows to chickens, because spirulina is very thin, it's difficult to separate that. But giving the animals, pigs, drinking water with spirulina are going to give them enough protein for them to live. They say, with this situation, a producer of milk cows, pigs, chickens can have a full protein that can be produced in their installations and goes directly to the animals. And they get the protein that they need during the day, only in this thing for them to drink water, and they can produce it themselves. Also, it's the big change in animal feeds is using this. Because with this, you can mix another crops with less protein, like the banana tree don't have so many protein, but have some, and is a feed that animals can eat. Having this with banana trees, they have a good food to produce milk in big quantities. It's a big change, because spirulina can change soya. We don't need soya for animal feed anymore. This is a map. I have another one from north and south. This one is from south. But how we can see, the equator line is on the top, a little, not too much, like 5 millimeters or 10 millimeters from here is the equator line. That if you see, the Democratic Republic of the Congo is the only country that have a lot of trees. The rest are not so many. And obviously from this part of the south of the Congo Republic, is not so many trees. Is why all of these parts can be done with palm oil trees that are going to make a lot of oxygen and collect a lot of the pollution in their roots. Is one of the best trees to save the planet and at the same time developing Africa. All of the things that I have in this video are going to show the need for it, and because it needs to stop doing too much work in the fields with the rapeseed, for example, and is saving the planet. And is one thing that all the countries must understand, that tree oil is important, and they need to use it. And you need to help Africa to have a better life, and we can change life really in these countries. I was to say something about that, but I forget. Another time it comes. That is the tires. My first job, 1 year and a half, it was to use, to change the tires. What we need to change, we have this number from 1 to 9. 9 is here, 8, where is the 7, 6, let's have the 7 somewhere, 6, 5, we have 6, it's the same thing, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 3, 4. I did note that we are doing now tires that we are using backlit in one of these parts here. I don't know which one, from 2, 3, 4, 6. You are using really backlit. I didn't know. I'll show you another picture where they say that are using backlit. But I don't think they are using backlit in the proper way. The proper way is okay, because it just says that all the tire without part 1 is enough strength to protect the tires, and we don't need to change anything. You just need to change 1, because you can have a life of 1 tire that can be used I say you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you times more for a living tire of use if you use backlit here. Actually, next pictures about it. But just to say, you are still, if you can sell five tires, you are not going to sell one. It's why these things must be changed by the governments and be studied much better that we are using. Because it's this part that you can change for two different ways of using backlit in it. One, like they use in part of the computer, but they need a kind of sports shoes that I think I could show after with the mix that they are using. Or they can choose mix rubber and backlit together in a different way. I will to show later one. This is a picture how to see how people have dead pets and how important is food pets nowadays in quantity that you need to produce for them. This is a picture that is for the productions in places like a desert where you cannot have it begins to be used in the lost places or acid alkaline lands in China that I did that, but can be used in the desert to grow crops for animal feed or for human feed. It's a way to produce electricity and to protect the crops down. For example, in Arabic countries, we need to protect parts of the day without light and just using the light time by time because plants, they need a lot of sun. It's the sun who makes them grow. And this is what I thought were for example, 1 kilometer in length to produce things that I'll show later on. And this is another thing for you. This is in China, in the desert, is a way to make walls to plant trees. You can have trees for the desert, but we also can have trees if the soil is not good. Making these walls makes the trees where we could use the manure, the fertilizer or the natural fertilizers from humans and animals mixed with different soils, special for each tree that you can use with plastic or directly, depends on the soil. And having trees in places that we will never have them before. It's one more picture to show how simple this situation works. Not so easy to see how it works, but it's not so expensive thing. This is a picture that I took to show how to make plastic. It was an idea of making big tubes to take salt water from the sea to the land. Nowadays, I think it's better to have a channel, open channel, that goes through the desert, 300, 400, 500 kilometers, to change all the environment inside the desert. We don't need to have tubes, but a way of running water in the desert, because all that part where is running water are changing the environment around. This is bamboo. It's a very interesting crop because we are using bamboo to make paper, to make furniture, make many things. And the fun thing is that we can use the green part on the top for animal feed and use then the part to make furniture or anything. So when you are working with this, we'll see that we need to separate the top and down that we can use in animal feed in bamboo. That is a way of making animal feed very easily. I'll show some pictures later on again. This is a press to press paper, to press plastic, mainly. That are two things, because we speak a lot of plastic. The problem of the plastic in the world is that the governments don't have the structure to collect the plastics. I think after this movie, the people will be pay attention more to the plastics, to get plastics and paper. And it's a machine that in small places you can pack the things there for after taking them in a short space in the tracks. If it's compact, it's easy. It's something that I bought in Portugal for, I don't know, it was me or my wife, for to put clothes when we go to put them in the sun to dry. It's a recycled plastic, because everything that normally is black, like this one, and this one is very soft. It's the kind of plastic that has been recycled. When you see black plastic, normally is recycled plastic in these things. And this is one way of using what I call rubbish plastic, that proves how important is to recycle plastic for doing many things. And one of them is the plastic don't spend much energy, because we have things, plastic is a subproduct from petrol or coal. Yeah, forget before now, I remember the word coal. And that after can be recycled in different things. It just we need ideas to do that. I'll show some in the future more. This is liquid, sweet water. Obviously, it can produce big quantities everywhere in Africa, in any country, and be the main part. Because liquid have about 40 full protein. And now this is not so easy to produce this. It's one more ways. Where we don't have lands that you can produce anything, you can produce these things and dry, and after it will be used from chickens to cows in animal feed. This is how it grows, day 1, day 5, day 10. They can grow exposure in big quantities. Like this, I took these things for two things. You can use, like here, not soil, just these things. And if it's square or rectangular, with for example, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all together in one, or just separate, because it's this part that we can have a soil prepared for what we want in the back, like the watermelon. It's possible to do watermelons in this situation when we have a rich soil and water. You can have big watermelons or everything doing it this way, because we prepare the soil for what you are going to use there. As the scours is something that can be manually or making by a machine. You can have machines for moving these parts, thousands or millions of these things, moving to the fields. And whether if you need to change or to put new land or correct it, new soil, machines can take everything from the fields and put it again automatically without any problems. And the black is the same thing, that we have recycled plastic to do it. This one is not with recycled plastic, but they have a space where you can have air, I think. Also, it's good when it's on the top to decrease the temperature goes to the soil. It's a very interesting way to do these situations with this material. One more situation, for example. The soils in that alkaline, full alkaline, and for now I just go to the alkaline. This situation separates the things from the soil, and is one situation that soils, alkaline and salty, can be used in this style, or going to depends of the quality of the soil. But that soils we can use for trees, because the space in that way that you are using is not so big, and the trees can, say, fruit trees, you can use that places for fruit trees in a high quantity in soils that you cannot use for anything. You cannot produce corn or wheat in certain soils, and you just must do it with trees. This is what the solar panels, this is, I think it's corn, I'm not certain, because it can be done with different cereals, and winter and summer cereals, to feed animals like cows, because they have a high amount of protein, and is a way to produce quickly and fast food for animals. Good for deserts and places we cannot cultivate, and other things is using kilometers of wetlands to produce this and sun, electricity. There's another thing that salty or seawater, you can use parts of it for plant animal feed. Not needs to be all in soil, but we can use where we have water too. And you must understand you can have wildlife and domestic animals, and at the same time you need to know the stations. You need to be like the Sioux, where they kill the bisons. They kill for eating, and not to destroy the animals, until the Europeans went there to kill everything for leather or leather. Another image of a desert that can be in mountains with water, salt water, to have fish, and plankton or algae, salt algae, for animal feed or human. Another thing with that things is the grains, how they grow. Of course, they take more than 7 days. 7 days must be a good weather for crops to grow, but is a way from cows, camels, an animal to rabbits, to have food with protein, getting in places that we don't have soil good for that. This is algae. Everything from the food is for to do petrol, diesel, or products for cars, is what we think about our land, using it for that. Well, last time I listened one for corn in Europe, to do Europe to make petrol things. We just feed in crops and things to do petrol. We don't feed the animals or humans with that. That is a way that proves how we can have things in high quantities for animal feed and human feed. And one more, 2 kinds of algae that can be used for animal feed and human feed. That's how to say it's not so difficult. This is azolla, is a kind of duckweed too, with a protein for animal feed. Another thing from the waters that you can collect for animal feed. And to choose the animals, we have camels, and camel is an animal that can eat everything. If they don't have, they can eat a tree. And buffalo, because these animals are prepared for more content in water for vegetables. They are more prepared to eat vegetables concentrated in water with grand quantities of water. That cows cannot do that. The situation of places where we can use plastic to separate a soil and have the right tree in it. You can have down and up. So down, if you have a superficie with 20 centimeters of not properly land, but down is good, you can have lots of trees in this situation, separating the soil and having trees. This is animal feed that you can do in the duckweed too, having in it. It's one of the sites that I took the ideas of bamboo that I think it's one of the most better things that I find in this shop. And it's from Bamboo Batu from Nigeria. It's a way that shows you need to use bamboo in a different way that we have been using now. Bamboo can be the free of people in animal feed. I see these bananas trees, kind of bananas, after they cut all the bananas, because bananas just produce once and left everything in the fix. You can use, let's say, 1 year, another year not, using the trees for animal feed. It was from me that came the idea of making electricity by electricity. It's a study for bananas and for planting products for animal feeding from bananas. Today, in the internet, we have everything. If you go to YouTube, and another thing that I have here, Pinterest, it appears the name because I could not remember, we'll see all what I'm speaking, because it was my front of ideas for everything that I've been doing this for agriculture. This is another way. It's a place where fishing, but you cannot see in this one very well, but all the water is filled with duckweed. Duckweed is quite not, people don't connect it with the animal feed. They don't think that, or the protein, that is the best protein that they can have for the other things, but they don't know. We are speaking about soybean, 36 to 56, is less than duckweed, or spirulina. Spirulina goes to 70. But is one idea, when we make bread, we can make bread, and I've been buying bread to see the difference. And soybean appears in a lot of them. I don't know what they put in bread with soybean or with the quantity, because they don't say. But we can do bread for people with soybean and mix with wheat or just soybean. This is rubbish plastic. This is from the Asian process sheet. Amazing process of old plastic are recycled, making plastic sheets. Asian process sheets. You are going to see how, with the whole of this rubbish, you are doing things. Quite interesting. And this is cassava. I thought cassava was a lot with protein. Cassava don't have protein, what we eat, but it's the leaves that can be for animal food, because is where is the protein concentrated is in the leaf, not in the plant. Another thing is, I don't know if it's aloe vera here, but it's the things that you can do with cattle. It's quite fun. It is the backlit that I was speaking that you are using in the tires, but must be done in a different. It's okay what they are doing is very good. Just how I tell you, is not on the number one. That is the top, and this thing must be to the top. I have a photography which shows a sport shoes, a football shoes. That is something that can be done with this material on the top, because it's one way to have a protection for that. Is this part here. This can be mixed, but not is in this format, because we need they need to move, and it's not with like this all close if you are using the backlit like this one. Just can be doing with sawdust of backlit in that way. This is Mexico in the sea. It's an algae that makes is now a disaster. Anyway, I don't know the quality of this algae can be reserved for protein and have machines to collect them. It's just things we don't know, but we need to study what they are and if they have, if it's good for animal feed or human feed too. This is how we speak. Can you use seawater? Not seawater, but you can use water taken from the sun from inside the country with some salty. This is a kind of that we have in Portugal, and it's where you use human manure to create them, because they are for animal feeds for pigs to get fat. Some of the qualities is better than chili. In this part, they can make a better chili sweet than chili sweets. It's the kind of crepes I use there. Another thing, the roots of a small tube with good land can produce this kind of fruits in bad lands. Palm tree in I think in Indonesia or Malaysia, but is what you need to have in Africa in lots of places and in big quantities. I think I forget, but we can have in Google Maps to know what kind of area is good for this or not. Not to have the situation, we can have this situation to grow up areas, not to destroy forest. Because lots of the places, like I said before, they don't have anything in them, they are not producing anything at all in Africa. Parsley, I took these things because from the leaves to the bottom is all the same. People normally put this the down part out because it is much harder if it's done in the terrains that are not with water. But it's the same quality of the leaves. Palm oil tree. And it was this situation that I find, because palm trees in cities have a lot of birds. Because you can use palm tree